The average American earning $84,000 a year feels like they should be building real wealth by now, and they're not. And the reason almost nobody talks about is that somewhere between 2020 and 2026, about 10 completely normal spending habits quietly stopped making financial sense. Not because you're reckless, not because you're buying anything stupid, just regular stuff. And the math has shifted far enough that these habits are bleeding somewhere between $15,000 and $25,000 out of the average household every year that could be building actual wealth instead. And this video names all 10 of them. And if you recognize yourself in even 3, you're going to end this video knowing exactly where that money has been going. And before we start, there's one thing all 10 have in common that most videos like this never name. I'll give it to you at the end. And once you see it, you'll understand why stopping any one of these is harder than it should be. Number 1 is food delivery apps. And not because delivery is inherently bad, but because of what actually happened to make it this expensive. When DoorDash and Uber Eats launched around 2014, they were burning venture capital money to subsidize your delivery because they needed you dependent before they charged you the real price. And once they had you hooked, the subsidies disappeared one fee at a time, and the markups appeared inside the menu prices inside the app. So the Chipotle burrito that costs $13 at the counter is $15 in the app. And then there's a delivery fee, a service fee, a tip, and you're looking at $29 for the same burrito you could have picked up for $13. But here's the part most people miss. That's not a delivery fee on top of a $13 burrito. That's the real price of something you got baited into thinking was $13. You didn't discover a convenient service, you got baited by one. And they used 2 years of below-cost pricing to make sure you were hooked before they showed you the actual number. The fix is pick it up, or order directly from the restaurant's own website. The food is identical, and the burrito is $13 again. Number 2 is new car payments. And the reason this one is so hard to argue against is that it's the most normalized financial trap in America. Everyone around you seems to have one, so it reads as normal. The average new car payment in 2026 is $738 a month. And a new car loses roughly 25% of its value in the first year alone. So the moment you drive it off the lot, you owe more than it's worth. And that gap, being underwater, lasts most new car buyers at least 2 years. Number 3 is streaming bundles. And the irony here is that cutting cable was genuinely the right call. When you could get Netflix for $8 a month, the math worked. You saved real money. But the average American household now subscribes to 4.5 streaming platforms and spends $60 to $75 a month on them, which in most cities is more than cable cost before you cut it. You didn't cut cable. You just learned to rebuild it one $10 decision at a time until you were paying the same amount with more passwords to remember. Every platform designed it this way. Each one locks one show you actually want and makes canceling feel like you might miss something. And you probably will. One show. And the show is worth $12, not $60. The fix is rotating. One service at a time, watch everything you want, cancel. Move to the next. $12 to $18 a month instead of $75. Same content, different sequence. The fix is rotating. One service at a time. Number 4 is fast food, and this one has a specific brutality to it because the promise was never healthy, the promise was cheap, and cheap is gone. A double quarter pounder meal is $14 in 2026. A Chipotle bowl is approaching $15. And even Taco Bell, which was the last holdout, now runs $10 to $12 for a basic order. And fast food prices have increased 55% since 2019, while the food itself has not changed. And the thing about $14 is that $14 can get you a real meal at a local spot. Actual ingredients, actual kitchen. While $14 at McDonald's gets you food that was shipped frozen from a factory and assembled in a parking lot. Without cheap, the deal is just inconvenient food eaten in a car. The only exception worth naming is Costco. The hot dog and soda is still $1.50, and they have held that price for 40 years while the rest of the industry tripled everything. Not a sponsored statement, just an acknowledgement of rare institutional discipline.
Number 5 is extended warranties. And this is the quickest win on the list because almost nobody knows this. When you buy a laptop or a TV or a phone, and the person at the register asks if you want the extended warranty for $100 or $200, you should almost always say no. Not because things don't break, but because you've probably already paid for that coverage and don't know it. If you have a Chase Sapphire Preferred, an American Express Gold, a Capital One Venture, or most premium credit cards, those cards automatically extend the manufacturer's warranty by 1 additional year on eligible purchases at no cost to you. So if something has a 1-year manufacturer's warranty and you paid with one of those cards, you already have 2 years. And Best Buy has been successfully charging you for something you already own. Extended warranties are one of the highest margin products in all of retail because the company selling them is counting on you forgetting the warranty exists, misplacing the documentation, or having the product break in a way the warranty explicitly excludes.
Number 6 is brand name products. And this one is genuinely simple once you know it. Consumer Reports testing has found that store brands match or exceed name brand quality in most household categories: cleaning supplies, laundry detergent, cooking staples, over-the-counter medications. The difference in most cases is the packaging, the logo, and the advertising campaign that convinced you the quality was different. And that advertising campaign is built into the price you're paying. So you are literally paying the company back for the effort it took to convince you their product was better than the one sitting next to it on the shelf. Switching from name brands to store brands across the board saves the average household $1,500 to $2,500 a year without changing a single purchase. Same store, same aisle, same product category, just a different label. The diagnostic is simple. Would you still buy it if you couldn't see the logo?
Number 7 is upgrading your phone every year. And this one is specifically about what Apple has figured out about human psychology that is worth understanding even if you never change your upgrade cycle. The honest description of the difference between an iPhone 15 and an iPhone 16 for someone using it for calls, texts, Instagram, and maps is essentially nothing. The camera is slightly better on videos most people don't film, the processor is faster for tasks most phones were never slow at, and the design is close enough that the primary difference is the number on the back. And yet, the iPhone 16 costs $1,200. Apple has turned a moderate annual hardware update into a cultural event that feels mandatory. And recognizing that it's marketing is not the same as being immune to it, but it is the first step toward not paying $1,200 for anxiety management disguised as a phone upgrade. Hold 3 to 4 years between upgrades, or buy the previous generation refurbished at half the cost. The phone does the same things, and nobody at a table can tell which year you're holding.
Number 8 is actively managed mutual funds. And if you have a 401k and you have never opened it to look at what you're actually invested in, this is the item you stayed for. An actively managed mutual fund charges you between 0.75 and 1.5% of your total investment every year, in exchange for a professional manager picking stocks and trying to beat the market. Here's what that fee buys you. According to S&P Global, over the 20 years from 2005 to 2025, roughly 87 to 90% of actively managed funds underperformed the index they were trying to beat. You were paying a professional to make decisions that 87% of the time would have produced a better outcome if they hadn't made them. And you were paying the fee whether they beat the market or not. The fee compounds against you silently. 1% per year over 30 years on a $500,000 portfolio is approximately $1.2 million in lost growth. Not from bad picks, from the fee alone. Open your 401k today. Look at your expense ratios. Anything above 0.25% has a cheaper alternative. And that one search could be worth 7 figures at retirement. Number 9 is wellness products. And the distinction here matters. Taking care of your health is not the problem. The $7 trillion industry built on selling you the idea that you need their products to take care of your health is the problem. The $25 smoothie, the $300 yoga set, the peptide supplement, the sleep stack. None of these are selling you health outcomes. They're selling you the feeling of prioritizing your health.
And those two things are not the same, and they do not produce the same results. The things with the strongest clinical evidence for improving how you feel are walking daily, sleeping 8 hours, drinking water, eating real food, and exercising. None of these have a marketing budget. None come in packaging, and none cost $25 at a counter in Los Angeles. The diagnostic is whether you have 3 bottles of something in a cabinet you use inconsistently because it appeared in your Instagram feed. If yes, you didn't buy health. You bought a story about the version of yourself you're trying to become. And stories are the most expensive thing in the wellness aisle.
Number 10 is status spending. And this is the one that explains all the others. Here's what all have in common. None of them are really about the product. The DoorDash order isn't food. It's the version of you that's successful enough not to have to cook tonight. The new car payment isn't transportation. It's the version of you that has made it. The iPhone upgrade isn't a phone. It's the version of you that isn't falling behind. The wellness products aren't health. They're the version of you that takes care of themselves. And the brand name label is the version of you that buys the good stuff. These 10 things are all selling you a character, and the character needs maintenance.
And billion-dollar companies have gotten extremely sophisticated at making identity spending feel indistinguishable from rational consumption because the two feel identical from inside the checkout screen. The question that cuts through all of it, every single time, is the one from the brand name section. Would you still buy it if nobody could see it? Not just the logo items, all of it. The DoorDash order, the car, the streaming service. Would you still choose it if the choice were completely invisible? Because the version of yourself that a company invented requires their product to exist. The version that actually exists does not.
The average American earning $84,000 a year feels like they should be building real wealth by now. And they will be the moment they stop funding a character someone else designed with a marketing budget and start asking what each purchase is actually for. That question is worth between $15,000 and $25,000 a year, and it costs nothing to ask. I make these videos because I find it personally offensive that entire industries have gotten very good at making financially stuck people feel like they're treating themselves when they're actually treating corporate shareholders. So subscribe, and I'll keep being personally offended about it on your behalf. The video on your screen right now might be more helpful for you, so click and watch.